Hello dear students, myself Aparna Srivastav. Today we are going to study Geography, Chapter 5, Major Domains of the Earth. Children, Earth is the only known planet which supports life. This we all know very well. We find all living organisms from the pole to the equator, from the bottom of the sea to several miles in the air, from freezing waters to dry valleys, from undersea thermal vents to underground thousands of feet below the earth's surface. So, we find all living organisms on the earth. There are basic three components of earth. One is lithosphere, then atmosphere and hydrosphere. What is lithosphere? The solid portion of earth on which we live is called lithosphere. The gaseous layers that surround the earth is called atmosphere, and the water covers a very large area of the earth's surface is called hydrosphere. So here the main three components of environment: lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere. One is in solid portion, then gaseous layer and the water air area. Yes, now let's start with the lithosphere. Lithos means stone and sphere means surface. So the word itself gives the meaning that the stone surface, the outer covering or the crust of the earth is called lithosphere. Children, lithosphere includes all land masses, high mountains, deep valleys and plateaus. Okay, here are some highlights of lithosphere. Heights of land masses is measured from the sea level. As all oceans of the world are connected with each other, so the level of sea water remains the same everywhere. So how we come to know that the particular land area is of what height? We come to know because we have to measure that height from the sea level. Because we are considering that all around the world, all oceans are well connected with each other. So the level of seawater remains same everywhere. So that is why we are measuring the land from the sea level always. Then major land masses called continents and smaller land masses called islands. And islands, they are surrounded by water on all sides. This you all know, children. Okay. Okay, why we study regarding lithosphere? What's the need of study of lithosphere? First thing, to know about the indispensable of growth of plants, then to know about sources of minerals resources, and to know various landforms for economic factors and human needs. So now further I am going to tell you about the different continents, and when I am going to explain you that, so I am explaining that in respect with all these 3 points. First is that what is the growth of, which kind of plants grows in that particular land area. Then second thing, what kind of minerals we are able to find there. Then third thing is that what are the economic factors and the human need of a particular land form. Okay, why this is the reason why we are studying the lithosphere. Okay, yes, now continents. Let's start with the very first continent, that's the Asia. Asia is the world's largest continent, both in area and in population. The continent extends from 10 degrees south to 77 degree north latitude and from 25 degree east to 170 degree west longitude. It is the only continent joined to two others. So this is the only continent which is joining with other two continents. It covers 1/3 of the total land area of the earth. That's the biggest land area covered. It lies mostly in the eastern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the Asian continent. In the west, Europe is separate from Asia by Ural Mountains. So, Europe is separated by Asia in the west with the Ural Mountains. The combined landmass of Asia and Europe is called Eurasia. Okay. So next, on number 2, we are having Africa. Africa is the second largest continent after Asia. It lies between 37 degree north to 35 degrees south latitude and between 18 degree west to 51 degree east longitude. The equator or zero latitude runs almost through the middle of this continent. So that means our equator runs through the middle of this continent. Which continent? This is Africa continent. A large part of Africa lies in the northern hemisphere. It is the only continent through which the Tropic of Cancer, the equator and Tropic of Capricorn passes. So you can understand that how big this area is. Africa is such a big continent that Tropic of Cancer, the equator and the Tropic of Capricorn, all three lines are passes from it. This continent is bound on all the sides by ocean and sea. The world's longest river, the Nile, and the world's largest hot desert, the Sahara, are found in South Africa. Then, next on number 3, we are having North America. This is the third largest continent of the world. It is linked with South America by a narrow strip of land called the Isthmus of Panama. This is the narrow strip of land which connect these two continents, South America with the North America. This continent lies completely in northern and western hemisphere. 3 oceans surrounding this continent are Pacific, Atlantic and Arctic Ocean. Canada and USA together form Anglo-America. The Siberian Islands are also called West Indies. So Siberian Islands are also found in North America only. Okay. Then next we are having South America. This is the 4th largest continent and surrounded by 2 oceans, the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. The Andes, world's longest mountain range, we found it here only. South America has the world's largest river, that is the Amazon. The 3 rivers, namely Orinoco, the Amazon and La Plata, drain this region. Okay, then on number 5th we are having Antarctica. Antarctica is the 5th largest continent. The South Pole lies almost at the center of this continent. It is permanently covered with thick ice sheet and hence it is also called the White Continent. So Antarctica is also called the White Continent because it is permanently covered with the ice, thick ice. There are no permanent human settlement here. Many countries have established research stations in Antarctica. Because of the climate of this area, of this continent, Antarctica, it is throughout the year, it is covered with a thick snow. That is why no human can live over there. Only we will find few settlements of the different countries in the form of research centers. That means the scientists used to go to Antarctica for the research purpose, not for the living purpose. And some travelers are also there, tourist people, those who used to go and they stay over there hardly for 2 or 3 days, then they come back. India also has a research station there. These are named as Maitri in 1988 and Dakshin Gangotri on 9 January 1982. It was established on 9th January 1982, Dakshin Gangotri, and Maitri was established over there in 1988. These both are the research centers of India in Antarctica. Then next on 6th number we are having Europe. Europe is the 6th largest continent in terms of surface area. This continent lies to the west of Asia. The Arctic Circle passes through it. It is bound by water bodies on 3 sides. It is a continent of high mountain and vast plains. Okay. Then last we are having Australia. Australia is very small continent. It is the smallest one and it's on number 7th. It is called an island continent because it is surrounded on all sides by oceans and sea. New Zealand is also a part of Australian continent. It is separated from Australia by the Tasman Sea. So, Australia is the smallest continent and it is surrounded by water from all the sides. So this is all, children, your continents. Let's move ahead. Now our second is, here we have finished the lithosphere, and our second component is hydrosphere. The hydrosphere is the sphere of water that surround our planet. In Latin, hydro means water. The hydrosphere is the liquid water component of the earth. It includes the ocean, sea, lakes, ponds, river and streams. The hydrosphere covers about 70% of the surface of the earth and is the home for many plants and animals. That we all know very well, that water covers the 70% part of the earth. We are living only on the 30% part of the earth. So you imagine what will happen if any day all the water comes on us. We all will die in that case. But then we are living on the 30% of the land masses and 70% is water. And out of this 70%, hardly 2% of total water is the fresh water. That means which is fit for human being to drink or to use. Rest all other water we are not able to use it because that is the sea or ocean's water which is completely very salty. So we cannot use that. Okay. So hydrosphere consists of ocean, sea, bays and gulfs. Oceans. The 4 major oceans of the world. First one is the Pacific Ocean. This is the largest ocean. It spread over 1/3 of the earth. Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the earth. Trench is, children, a kind of a cave inside the water. So, Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the earth, lies under the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is circular in shape. It surrounds continents like Asia, Australia, North and South America. So Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean of the earth. Then on second number we are having the Atlantic Ocean. This is the second largest ocean of the world. It is in S shape. It is flanked by North and South America on the western side and Europe and Africa on the eastern side. The coastline of Atlantic Ocean is highly intended, which provides ideal location for natural harbors or port. So the location of the Atlantic Ocean is ideal. So that is why it provides the natural harbors and ports. From commercial point of view, it is the busiest ocean. So Atlantic Ocean is the busiest also. Though it is the second largest ocean, but then too it is the busiest ocean because the coastline of Atlantic Ocean is highly intended, which provides ideal location for natural harbors and ports. On third number we are having the Indian Ocean. it is the only ocean named after a country, that is India. The shape of this ocean is almost triangular. In the north, it is bounded by Asia, in the west by Africa, and east by Australia. And on the last, we are having on fourth number the Arctic Ocean. It is located in the Arctic Circle, surrounded by the North Pole. It connected with the Pacific Ocean by a narrow stretch of shallow water known as Bering Strait. This is the name of the shallow water which connect it with the Pacific Ocean. It is bounded by northern coast of North America and Eurasia. It has two basins, the Eurasian Basin and the North American Basin. What is Eurasian? Combination of Europe and Asia together, it's considered as Eurasian Basin and North American Basin. The central part of ocean is permanently covered with ice, which is about 3 meters thick throughout the year. Okay. So now next we are having atmosphere. A column of air surrounds the earth up to the height of 1600 km above the earth's surface is called the atmosphere. Here you see the layers of the atmosphere. So very first layer is troposphere, where you will find where the birds fly usually. And our Mount Everest reaches above the troposphere, and clouds are formed here. Just little above the troposphere you will find the clouds. An aeroplane used to fly between the troposphere and the stratosphere. And then your radio active waves you found there. Radio sounds you will find there in the stratosphere. So basically your troposphere and stratosphere, you will find there the highest peak of the Mount Everest, that you will find. Then the clouds and the aeroplanes and radioactive waves you will find there just above the stratosphere. So from stratosphere and then the mesosphere, we will find all the meteors there. Whatever the meteors are falling from the sky, they are reaching till mesosphere, and then after that it will disappear. Then from mesosphere till thermosphere, what things are there? That's a spacecraft usually, and then the aurora, that's there. That's the radioactive waves. Okay, these waves you will find there. And then the last we are having exosphere, which is where the satellites are there, just above our atmosphere, just out of the outer coverage of the earth. That is the largest layer of last layer of the earth is exosphere, where the satellites usually settle down. Okay, just below that spacecraft settle down, and then likewise it is. Okay, then the components of air. Component means that what things are present in the air. When we are saying air, so air is not only the oxygen and not only the carbon dioxide, but air is a mixture of different gases, and especially nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, and other gases altogether 1%. Okay, so this is the combination of the different gases in a air, which is known as the components of air. Then we are having, children, importance of atmosphere. What is the importance of atmosphere? Very first thing, it provides the necessary gases for living things to survive. This we know because our atmosphere make a blanket, you can say, just above the sky, which do not allow the ultraviolet rays of the sun to reach to us, as well as it won't allow the gases which are needed for us to survive to go in the space. it keeps all the necessary gases within the range. So it provides the necessary gases for living things to survive. Then second thing, regulate the heat from the sun to just the right temperature for life on the earth. Because just now in the previous slide we have seen that there are so many layers of the earth. So when the ultraviolet rays of the earth reaches to the ground level of the earth, till then it will little cool down, so it will not harm us. So we can say that the layers of the atmosphere saves us from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Then third is, it plays an important role in the water cycle also, that we all know very well, because this layers of the atmosphere does not allow the water to go up in the sky. When I'm saying sky, so here I mean that just above the reach of the earth. That's what sky, what we are saying sky is uh, the layers, the three layers of the earth. That's we are saying sky here, the troposphere, stratosphere and mesosphere, है ना. Till here you can see, till here only our water cycle work. Then out of that, this thermosphere and exosphere, here the cloud does not reach till there. So it remains the gases which are present, which are making the atmosphere, they keep the cloud towards the down layer only. And we know very well that clouds plays an important role in the water cycle. Then the ozone layer protects the earth from the sun's harmful UV rays, that ultraviolet rays. Just now I was explaining you that ozone layer protect earth from the harmful UV rays. Then it protects earth from small meteors also, because the topmost layer of the earth are highly what we can say that the electric, that it won't allow, as soon as any meteor reach to the uppermost layers of the earth, then it will automatically burst over there. And by the time when it reach to the troposphere, it is in the form of ashes only. Otherwise meteor will come to us in a big size. Okay, so these all are the importance of the atmosphere. Then next we are having our biosphere. What is biosphere? Biosphere is a combination of all the four spheres, that's lithosphere, hydrosphere, ecosphere and atmosphere. All these things together makes a biosphere. The biosphere is the global sum of all ecosystem. It can also be termed as zone of life on earth, a closed system apart from solar and cosmic radiation and heat from the interior of the earth, and largely self-regulating. So apart from these things, rest all the things which are present in the ecosystem sum up together and makes the biosphere. Or we can say the biosphere is a narrow zone of contact or combination of the lithosphere, the hydrosphere and the atmosphere that makes life possible. Okay, the word bio has been derived from the Greek word bios, means life, and the Latin word sphere means total range. So when we are saying biosphere, we are talking about all the spheres all together. This is the sum up of all the spheres all together. That's the biosphere. So that's all, children, in this chapter. This is very easy one, and I know that I hope that you all able to understand this chapter. Your homework is you have to read your lesson thoroughly. Then along with this video, I am sending one attachment to you in which question answers are there. So you have to write all question answers in your classwork copy. That's all for today, children. Okay.